Alrighty, how is everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. And this is an educational channel, and we look into great theories, concepts, and discoveries that you might not be familiar with because they've been suppressed. These are things that you have to do a lot of digging for, but the deep digs will be rewarded um, with a lot of great nuggets that will help you with your spiritual, mental, and physical health. This is a segment that we have that is called the Q-tip of the spear. And we look at the coverage of the cutting edge of the info war from some of my favorite podcasters. Um, Although I just have to say, I'm not too enthusiastic about the podcasts that I've been listening to. And I'm frankly almost losing interest. The you know the psyops are just so absurd and blatant, and just you don't know what's going on. Nobody has any idea what's going on. um some people, and then the podcasters, a lot of them just love to take credit every time they get something right, but it's mum's the word when they get something wrong. And they're always, oh, well, look at our track record. Well, I don't know. I hear you getting a lot of stuff wrong. You do get stuff right, Um, but it just seems to be all these podcasters, they, and maybe I'm guilty of the same thing, but they all think that they're like the only ones who are awake, or that they're more awake than everybody else, and or their group. you know we're, our organization, we're all awake and everybody else is asleep. Or maybe not everybody else, but so many different large groups of people. And you know I guess I am guilty of that, because I see the entire movement as being asleep. I see the entire movement as being normies, because they're missing the major psyop. They're falling for the major psyop. There are psyops upon psyops upon psyops, but then there is the psyop of the last, uh, you know, age that they're all falling for, and that is the New Testament of the Bible and the story of Jesus. This was a psyop that was written by the Romans. They wrote the New Testament as a psychological operation against the Jews. And there are probably a dozen books out there that go into this. And a lot of it is very, very convincing. Some of it, I think, goes way beyond the 17th letter in terms of their level of demonstrating it, their level of proof, how many coincidences before it's mathematically impossible. Well, I think they got way beyond that point in the basically the Romans. Not only did they write the New Testament, but they signed their name to it in code. And so um, they wanted you to know that they wrote it. They left their names on it. So, you know, normally when you listen to Christians, and I know that some of it comes with the territory, I guess. But when they're trying to prove things and provide evidence for things, they generally go with the "there is no other way" argument. Like, there's no other way to explain it than God did it. Or there's no other way to explain it than that, Jesus was the Son of God. Um, you know, and like I said, I know it comes with the territory. You know, it's hard to it's hard to prove invisible things. Um, but it's also um, evidence of your lack of creativity because um, pretty much every time I hear you say, there's no other way to explain it, I can come up with a way to explain it very quickly, like without even really thinking about it too much. Um, and that's probably because I've read a lot of conspiracy theories. And so these these Christians need to read some more conspiracy theories so they have a better inventory of what is possible and um, what has been claimed for ancient history. What what uh, what are some of the theories out there? Because some of these theories do explain the situations that you are talking about. One example I'm reading some apologetic article that is, uh, kind of a evolution versus creation type of format, um, which, you know, I think it's obvious that it's um, really neither of the above. Um, and the question is that um, all the primates, the chimps and the bonobos and the orangutans and the gorillas, they all have 48 chromosomes, two pairs of 24 chromosomes, while the human being has 46 chromosomes, two pairs of 23. And it appears as if chromosome 2 is the same uh, as the chimpanzees, like 2A and 2B chromosomes fused together. So it appears as if, um, you know, that the link is that the chimpanzees somehow um, two of their chromosomes fused into one chromosome, and that resulted in humans. But, that wouldn't result in 100% humans because it would only, if it were a mutation, it wouldn't, you know, that wouldn't be the result. And so, you know, these Christians are trying to say there's no other way to explain it than God did it. But if you read your own myths and legends, but you read the Bible, and the story is in the Bible, but you aren't able to decode it properly. But the source for the story that's in the Bible is in the Sumerian. The Sumerian, uh, the clay tablets, what I guess uh, maybe the Assyrian, Babylonians, they called it the Enuma Elish or something to that effect. And it explains that it was done on purpose by some geneticists who knew they knew what they were doing. They fused those chromosomes on purpose. And so it wasn't either evolution or creation. It was a conspiracy from the head geneticist named Enki. And, you know, Enki and his genetic crew are highly advanced and they were created by God. you know um, it just pushes God a little bit further out of the picture, but not all the way out of the picture. But it's definitely not human evolution. um, so That's just what I would say. I'm still studying up on the matter, so I could change my mind. But it's an interesting study, and I guess it's not really that related to the Christian story in the New Testament. That's a completely different decode of the Bible. But I do have a Bible decode series on this channel, which you can check out, as well as other videos that I delve into this same type of topics uh, under the Q-tip of the spear, and also the Your Blind Side videos. So check me out, and you won't be disappointed with the provocative nature. Um, okay, like, share, subscribe, comment, contribute, and uh, we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.